There's a political storm shaking the south suburbs, and at the center of it all is none other than Tiffany Henyard. Once hailed as a fresh face in local government, she showed up calling herself the supermayor, promising transparency, progress, and a true focus on the people. Her arrival felt like a breath of fresh air. Folks believed she was the real deal, someone who not only talked the talk, but walked it too. But that polished image she built, it's crashing down, and fast. The superhero mask she wore so proudly is cracking under pressure. That cape of inspiration has been snatched away by scandal after scandal. What was once seen as bold leadership is now being exposed as manipulation. And now, the self-proclaimed supermayor is facing something no PR spin can fix: a full-blown federal investigation. This week brought another major blow. The Illinois state controller put a hard freeze on payments to the village of Dalton. Why? Because Dalton failed to file crucial financial reports once required by law. This isn't just a missed deadline or a bureaucratic slip-up. It's a blazing red flag. It suggests the village isn't just mismanaging money, it's completely losing control. No records, no transparency, no financial accountability. Now, no access to state funds. It's not just a financial freeze, it's a leadership failure. Meanwhile, more questions are bubbling to the surface, like why township money was spent on travel for events that had nothing to do with township business. For instance, a national conference specifically for mayors somehow included attendees from Thornton Township. That's not a scheduling mistake. That's a power play, one that's raising serious eyebrows. Because when the supermayor becomes the focus of a federal investigation, you already know it's about to get ugly. And this is just the beginning. Back in Dalton, the tension is thickened. It's getting harder to ignore. People are done being quiet. Same residents who once cheered for Tiffany Henyard are now demanding answers. Public meetings have turned chaotic, full of shouting, frustration, and a sense of betrayal. Even those who once stood beside her are backing away, some silently slipping into the background, others turning completely against her. Because let's be real, when the FBI shows up, loyalty fades fast. At a recent Thornton Township board meeting, everything hit a boiling point. The air was charged. Residents were angry. Trustees were on edge. But the financial state of the township? A complete mess. And it wasn't just mismanagement, it was being called betrayal right there on the record. Whistleblowers were reportedly threatened. Staff members who spoke out, fired without warning. This isn't just incompetence, it's a collapse in trust, a breakdown in everything public service is supposed to stand for. Then came the jaw-dropping revelation: $33,300 allegedly spent on Amazon in a single day. Not a month, not over a fiscal year. One day. That's not a simple accounting error. That's not a oops, we overspent. That's straight up indulgence. That kind of spending screams entitlement. It tells the public, I do what I want with your money. This isn't about serving the people. It's about serving yourself and the consequences. They go way deeper than budget shortfalls. This whole situation has emotionally wrecked the community. What started as hope has turned into betrayal. People trusted Henyard. They believed in her vision. They thought they had someone who would fight for them. Instead, they got someone who played them. One of the few courageous voices to come forward was Carmen Carroll, a whistleblower who saw the cracks from the inside and dared to speak out. According to her, retaliation came swift. Fear was constant. Careers were ruined. Inside Henyard's administration, loyalty wasn't earned, it was forced. And if you dared to ask questions, you were silenced or pushed out. What was supposed to be a new beginning for Dalton has turned into a warning for every other community. A clear example of what happens when power goes unchecked and transparency disappears. Behind closed doors, decisions were made. Public forums became PR events. Residents were cut off. The truth, buried. And the media kept digging anyway, covering scandal after scandal with no end in sight. Now, federal investigators turning up the heat, subpoenas stacking higher and pressure mounting. The emotional toll on the town is spilling into the open. What used to look like bold leadership now stinks of arrogance and control. And while Henyard keeps trying to manage the optics, cutting off public comment, dodging questions, spinning the narrative, the truth is already out there. The damage is deep, and the cracks in her administration too wide to cover up. She once crowned herself the people's mayor. But in the end, it was the people who ended up footing the bill. Literally. Lavish out-of-town trips, luxury, perks, and a self-indulgent lifestyle completely at odds with the responsibilities of public office. Tiffany Henyard may have branded herself as a servant of the people, but her actions showed she was more focused on serving herself. Then came the bizarre twist. What folks are calling the Good Burger Facebook fiasco. Henyard used to own a restaurant called Good Burger. After it shut down, the restaurant's Facebook page mysteriously transformed into the page for a nonprofit called the Tiffany Henyard Cares Cancer Foundation. Same account, same admin access, same digital fingerprints. But when people began asking questions about the foundation's legitimacy, Henyard straight up denied any involvement. That's not just shady, it's a lie told with a straight face. Even as the digital trail pointed directly at her, and once federal investigators start sniffing around charity fraud, it's not just about optics anymore. It becomes a serious legal threat. In just 2 weeks, the FBI issued not 1, not 2, but 5 subpoenas sent directly to Dalton and Thornton Township. One of them zeroes in on Henyard's private security detail. Apparently, an officer on that detail managed to log over 300 hours in just 2 weeks. Do the math, that's more than 21 hours a day. Something's not adding up, and the feds clearly want answers. Dalton officials now face a non-negotiable deadline. Turn over documents to a federal grand jury by May 20th. This isn't a soft request. It's a federal demand. And time is running out. This is what a political crash looks like: rapid, dramatic, and with no breaks. From a rising star dubbed supermayor to someone facing criminal exposure, Henyard's downfall has been nothing short of spectacular. But this isn't just some salacious scandal made for internet drama. It's real. It's devastating. Real communities, real budgets, real lives affected by reckless decisions. Now that she's out of office, the gloves are off. Federal prosecutors no longer have to navigate the red tape of dealing with a sitting official. The political armor is gone. What's left is just Henyard, a growing stack of legal problems. No more distractions. No more stage town halls. Just raw accountability headed straight toward her. So the big question for Dalton is this: will Tiffany Henyard become just another tragic example of unchecked power, or is there still another twist waiting to explode? Either way, the empire she built on spin, secrecy, and ego isn't just collapsing. It's being blown apart in real time. What Dalton needs now is a total reset. Leadership that actually serves, not exploits. A local government that remembers who it works for. Because the people of Dalton have already paid too high a price. They deserve stability. They deserve truth. Above all, they deserve better. As the subpoenas pile up and more insiders come forward, one thing is becoming clear: this story isn't over. Not even close. The only thing left to decide is how it ends. Does Henyard quietly disappear into the history books as another corrupt official caught red-handed? Or does she try to pull off one last dramatic move, one last gasp of defiance? Let me know what y'all think in the comments, because this saga, it's still unfolding. And if what we've seen so far is any sign of what's to come, things are about to get even wilder. When someone who once carried the title of supermayor ends up buried under subpoenas and scandal, that's not just a fall from grace, it's a collapse of everything they claim to stand for. What's happening in Dalton isn't politics as usual. It's civic betrayal. It's fed by silence and driven by unchecked ambition. Tiffany Henyard came in looking like the future stylish, bold, progressive. But beneath the surface was a dangerous truth. One that her community is now being forced to reckon with. One that started with hope and ended in heartache. Dalton believed in her. They handed her power. She used that power to build a brand, not a better community. Glossy photos, national headlines, big speeches. But when it came time to deliver, what they got were expensive flights, luxury spending, and a mayor obsessed with control. and when even your closest allies start to turn. That's when you know the clock has run out. Loyalty doesn't survive an FBI investigation. It disappears when agents start knocking and subpoenas start flying. That $33,300 Amazon purchase in a single day is the perfect symbol of what went wrong. Not just reckless, it's arrogant. That's not public service. It's self-service on steroids. But what stings most isn't the money. It's the betrayal. Brave whistleblowers like Carmen Carroll risked everything to expose the truth, only to be silenced and retaliated against. Her story laid bare a toxic culture rooted in fear, ego, and suppression. That's not how government is supposed to work. Henyard's entire rise was built on image, on PR, but when that image started to crack, it didn't just fall apart, it exploded. The trips, the firings, the charity scandals, the legal threats. All of it points to a leader who lost her way and took a whole town down with her. With every passing headline, the story grows darker. Every document uncovered paints a clearer picture of greed and control. And now, it's all catching up. Dalton isn't just watching the fall of a mayor. They're witnessing the collapse of trust in leadership itself. And the scariest part? It was all preventable. If someone had spoken up sooner, if checks and balances had worked, if the people in power had remembered who they were supposed to serve. But now, with the FBI fully involved, the ending is no longer up to Tiffany Henyard. The truth will write its own final chapter. So, will she end up as just another scandalous footnote in Illinois politics? Or is there still one last move she's planning to play? Either way, one thing is clear. Dalton deserves better. And this story? It's far from over.